Myanmar Industrial Products Exhibition 2011, organized by Industrial Development Committee, was held at MICC in Napital Council area on 23rd July. President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Sein, together with Vice President Dr. Sein, the Union ministers and officials viewed the motor vehicles, trucks, engines, machineries and spare parts, cargo coaches spare parts, construction machineries, farming equipment, and tools manufactured by number 1 and number 2 Myanmar Heavy Industries under the Ministry of Industry 2. He later viewed the medicines and foodstuff from Myanmar Pharmaceutical Industries, the functions of Directorate of Industrial Supervision and Inspection, the rules and regulations regarding the registration of private industries, facts about the electricity and boiler inspection laws, household goods of Myanmar Household Utensil Industries, scale model of Chaucer Glass Factory and its sample products by Myanmar Ceramics Industries, the textiles and cotton fabrics from Myanmar Textile Industries, the scale model of 200-ton Tabang Paper and Pulp Factory, and its quality products by Myanmar Paper and Chemical Industries, for low power and high power LEDs, solar panels for rural power supply program, and various tires from number 2 Heavy Industries. With the aims to raise public awareness and to support the quality products manufactured by the state-owned factories and to expand the market, Myanmar Industrial Products Exhibition 2011 will be held till 26th of July. There is a display of 893 items of textile, cotton fabrics, pharmacies, disposable syringe, traditional medicines, cosmetics, foodstuff, soft drinks, plastic and ceramic products, cement, bricks, stationaries, household goods from Myanmar Textile Industries, Myanmar Pharmaceutical Industries, Myanmar Ceramics Industry, Myanmar Paper and Chemical Industries, and Myanmar Household Utensil Industries under the Ministry of Industry 1. For the convenience of visitors, the sales shops were opened so that they can buy the quality products at reasonable price. Moreover, the exhibition displayed 72 industrial items of motor vehicles, automobiles, machineries and spare parts for transportation, construction and agricultural purposes, manufactured by number 1 and number 2 Myanmar Heavy Industries under the Ministry of Industry 2. President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Sein, together with Deputy Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services, Lieutenant General Sowin, Union ministers and department officials arrived at Buddha Atan Damab Bayman in Bago Region on 26 July. President Sein cordially greeted flood victims in temporary relief camp opened at the ground floor of the Damab Bayman. He asked them on flooding and requirement and gave encouragement. The President also inspected healthcare clinic of Bago Region Health Department opened at the relief camp and gave necessary instructions. At the first floor of the Damab Bayman, Bago Region Chief Minister reported on flooding over Bago and Yangon, Mandalay Highway, providing relief aid to flood victims, measures to be carried out after flooded waterfalls, inundated monsoon paddy plantation, collection of nursery sapling and paddy strain to transplant again in damaged monsoon plantation. After hearing the reports, the President said that he had come to check the convenience of the emergency relief camps and fulfill the needs. He found that the flood victims are receiving food and shelter and are in good health and good mood. It is not enough for their convenience at present. It is also necessary to fulfill their needs when they go back to their homes when the floods decrease. In implementing rural development and poverty alleviation programs, the government will also take measures for the hard-earned workers who are leaving the wards of the urban areas. Rural development and poverty alleviation programs are being carried out with the aims to ensure for the people to be able to enjoy food sufficiency, secure shelter, medication, and free of charge primary education for the children. The President also urged responsible personnel to work for soonest reopening of the flooded schools and compile the lists of the students to provide them with stationery. In conclusion, the President said although the natural disaster cannot be prevented, prior preparations needed to be done to overcome the difficulties. Thereafter, the President provided cash assistance for the flood victims through the Bago Region Chief Minister U Nyanwin. The union ministers also presented relief items, cash assistance, stationery, and medicines. President Thein, together with Deputy Commander-in-Chief of Defense Services, Lieutenant General Sein, union ministers, Rakhine State Chief Minister Ula Mountain, and department heads arrived at Hintada of Ayeyawady Region on the 27th of July. President Sein met district and township-level department officials, members of social organizations, and flood victims at the Hintada City Hall. Ayeyawady Region Chief Minister Thein explained on flooding of townships due to heavy rain from 19th to 25th July, resettlement of flood victims to their home from relief camps, rehabilitation work, schools temporarily closed due to flooding and reopened schools, condition of flooded dams and embankment, and providing relief aid to victim families. Later, Director of Irrigation Department U Tin reported on flood prevention measure of Ayeyawady Region. Regarding the report, the President said that flooding caused by heavy rain is not that wary than breaking of embankment. Flooding of river depends on durability of dam and embankment, so it is needed to pay emphasis on durability of dam and embankment. He also urged officials to follow precautionary measure and warning for dams and embankments issued by the state. The President said that they were there to find ways and means to overcome the disasters in the disaster-prone Ayeyawady region and take preparatory measures. Apart from providing food for the flood victims when they go back to their homes when water decreases, it is necessary to manage for them to earn their living in the long run by establishing private credit societies. The government is striving in seriousness for rural development and poverty alleviation, but the program will fully be realized all over the country only with the public participation. It has been only 4 months since the formation of the new government. The new government will take all the measures that need to be done according to the circumstance of the nation. It has held workshops with experts, and the outcomes are being reviewed. All need to accept that the development of the nation will slow if peace does not prevail. At present, there have been climate changes all over the world that leads to drought and scarcity of food in many countries. In comparison with other countries, the damages caused in our country are less than other countries. It is necessary to find ways and means how to overcome the disaster caused by the climate change and take preparatory measures. In conclusion, the President urges responsible personnel to monitor with care to prevent bursting of embankments in the post-monsoon season. Then, the President provided cash assistance for the flood victims through Hintada District Administrative Officer. After that, the union ministers presented relief aids, cash, and medicines. After the meeting, the President cordially greeted the flood victims. The President and party viewed round the development condition of the town. Then the President and party arrived in Thein in the guest house of the Public Works. They cordially greeted the flood victims and encouraged them by saying not to lose heart for the losses caused by the disaster, but to strive to timely cultivate when the flood water subsides. President Thein then provided paddy seeds and relief aids to the flood victims. The union ministers also provided cash, relief aids, rice bags, and medicines. Thereafter, the President and party proceeded to Gua in Rakhine State by helicopters. In Ang Mingala Hall, President U Thein met department personnel, social organizations, and flood victims. First, Township Administrative Officer reported on flooding condition in the villages and relief tasks being carried out. In responding to the reports, the President said they were there to provide assistance to the flood victims from the devastated areas and moderately affected areas in Rakhine State. Then, the President provided cash assistance. The union ministers also provided relief aids, stationery, and medicines. After that, the President cordially greeted the flood victims and encouraged them. Vice President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Dr. Sein and wife, Donan Shrimon, attended the ceremony to offer wazu robes and provisions at the Maha Atula Wayan Atumashi Monastery in Angmi Tarzan Township in Mandalay on the 24th of July. The ceremony commenced with recitation of Namo Tassa 3 times. Then the congregation led by Vice President Dr. Sein and wife Donan Shrimon received 9 precepts from the state of Sharia, the abbot of Wazo Monastery in Maha Angmi Township, the head of Shwechin Sasana Badadta Agia. They later listened to the pretas recited by the Sayados. Vice President Dr. Sein and wife Donan Shrimon then offered wazu robes and offertories to the state of Sharia, head of Shwechin Sasana, the abbot of Wazo Monastery. Then the congregation listened to the religious sermon from the state of Sharia, the abbot of Shui Wawin Monastery at the Myatang Monastery in Maha Angmi Township, and shared merits thus gained. Then the ceremony ended. Vice President Dr. Sein met with Chief Minister of Mandalay Region, Uyemi, and regional ministers at the Yuzana Hall of Mandalay City Development Affairs Committee on the 25th of July. First, the Chief Minister reported on formation of Mandalay Region, availability of irrigation water, boosting crops productivity and sown acreage, local food sufficiency, productions of industrial zones, measures for education and health sectors, and implementation of 8 tasks for rural development and poverty alleviation. In his speech, the Vice President said that Mandalay Region government can now closely manage to effectively carry out regional development tasks in economic, social, financial, and civil servants fields in coordination. Likewise, the regional government need to bear the pros and cons daringly and report every measure to the union government and relevant union ministries and seek assistance. The Vice President urged the Mandalay Region government to supervise the ministry's wise staff who are performing their duties in Mandalay Region to avoid bribery and to become a clean government, as instructed by the President, and to serve the people as much as possible. Vice President Dr. Sein and party visited Yadanapon University in Mandalay on the 25th of July, and they were welcomed by the in-charge rector, Dr. Thein and faculties. At the main lecture hall, the in-charge rector reported on salient points of the university, the specialized subjects, the strength of the students and faculties, the number of PhDs, degree holders, and research works, sports activities, installation of video conference communication system, and greening tasks. After hearing the reports, the Vice President said that the government will provide assistance as much as possible for expansion of school buildings to cope with the students' strength and stressed the necessity for the emergence of brilliant students with the concerted efforts of the faculties. After that, the Vice President inspected around the main building and the scale model of the Yadanapon University, research works and term papers, and research papers being displayed at the briefing hall. The Vice President and party also inspected the lecture halls, car parking and canteen and gave necessary instructions. From there, the Vice President went on to Myanmar Football Academy, Mandalay, in Chanyatasi Township, where he heard reports on the training being conducted to the trainees. The Vice President and party later viewed round the mess and training hall and greeted U-15 trainees. A total of 108 U-11, U-13, and U-15 trainees are being trained at the Myanmar Football Academy, Mandalay, systematically by 13 coaches, including the Brazilian chief coach, Mr. Marcos. And the Vice President and party later proceeded to the Institute of Sports and Physical Education, Mandalay, where they were welcomed by the Director General and responsible personnel. In the meeting hall, the Director General reported on the salient points of the Institute, including the participation in the sports events at home and abroad and prize-winning status. Next, the Union Minister for Hotels and Tourism and for Sports, Sein, reported on preparatory measures for hosting 27 SEA Games, the necessity for construction of more sports facilities, and training of Myanmar athletes to win success in the competitions. The Vice President then coordinated the requirements. Mandalay Region saw a new health facility in Chanyatasi Township on the 25th of July. Vice President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Dr. Sein attended the opening ceremony of 550-bed Children's Hospital and unveiled the inscription. Then, the Vice President inspected round the intensive care unit, operation theater, patient wards, and laboratory. At the subsequent ceremony, the donor, chairman of Eden Group of Companies, handed the related documents over to the Director General of Medical Science Department under the Ministry of Health. After that, Eden Group of Companies and Myanmar Shaesong Bank family donated 2 ambulances and 300 million chats for Medical Trust Fund. Chairman of Ayeyawady Bank, 20 million chats for Medical Trust Fund. Super Coffee Mix Family, a set of water purifier worth 11 million chats. Fresh Air Conditioning System and GK Power System Company, Mahaong Min 2 Group of Companies, Ayahinta Group of Companies, Manchway Lee Company and Myanmar Combiz Company also donated 10 million chats each for Medical Trust Fund, and Denka Trading Company, Tengayadana Family, and Cho Brothers Family donated 5 million chats each for Medical Trust Fund. Later, the Union Minister for Health said that modern designed patient wards were constructed for children in Upper Myanmar, Mandalay, and nearby townships, and a total of 701 doctors, nurses, and skilled staff were assigned there. Nowadays, children from Upper Myanmar can receive qualified healthcare services not only in 300-bed Children's Hospital Mandalay, but also in the new 550-bed one. Later, Mandalay Region Chief Minister gave a speech. The chairman of Eden Group of Companies explained the purpose of the donation, and the ceremony ended. At the hospital, there are 34 buildings facilitated with outpatient department, emergency department, operation ward, operation theater, and intensive care unit, patient wards, laboratory, X-ray unit, meeting hall, medical superintendent's house, staff quarter, and playgrounds. The hospital was constructed by Eden Group of Companies at a cost of over 5.2 billion chats. Vice President Dr. Sein visited Mandalay General Hospital on the 25th of July and inspected X-ray unit, radiology unit, cardiac unit, intensive care unit, operation unit, and patient wards, where he was conducted round by the medical superintendent and specialists. The Vice President then met the medical superintendents, specialists, and health staff from the hospitals in Mandalay at the teaching hall of the new 5-story ward. First, The medical superintendent reported on salient points of the hospital that were supplemented by the Union Minister for Health. After coordinating the requirements, the Vice President gave a speech saying that the Union nationals from Mandalay and Upper Myanmar have been relying on this hospital for about 60 years. Nowadays, there are two types of healthcare services in the Republic of the Union of Myanmar: healthcare services being rendered by the government and that are rendered by private sector. Being a developing country, majority of the people are the poor. Private hospitals and clinics are good for the minority of affordable people since they provide good services, although it is costly to an extent to take medical treatment there. The private health facilities are beneficial both for the entrepreneurs and the affordable patients since they are controlled by law not to seek economic profits alone. The government will keep supporting health care services provided by the government in line with the law to be able to catch up with the private health care services. After which, the Vice President and party visited University of Medicine, Mandalay, where the rector and officials conducted them around the university. At the lecture hall of the university, the Vice President met with the faculty members and staff. At the meeting, the rector reported on the teaching subjects, strength of the trainees at the pre, post, and doctorate courses, the facilities of university and teaching halls, holding the workshop on medical teaching and publishing research papers, holding the exams and convocation. The Vice President asked the facts about enhancing of students' efficiency and gave a speech. He said that the University of Medicine Mandalay can be honored as an alma mater that can bring out highly qualified human resources. Likewise, the teaching departments need to continuously appoint the staff who will perform their duties with concerted efforts. The teachers shouldn't content to work just in the departments and the country. They need to improve themselves constantly by cooperating with ASEAN, international organizations, and other organizations. Besides the academic affairs of the students, the teachers need to constantly fulfill the needs in religious and social affairs. After which, the professors and department heads reported on the requirements for the university. From there, the Vice President and party proceeded to Central Women's Hospital, Mandalay, where they inspected emergency room, outpatient ward, blood bank, and X-ray unit. At the Midwifery Training School, Mandalay, the Vice President met with the principal, teachers, and trainees. He asked about conducting of training courses and instructed the needs. Later, he comforted the patients at the obstetric and gynecological ward in the Central Women's Hospital and inquired about the medication and fulfilled the needs.
Vice President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Dr. Sein and party inspected Mandalay University on the 26th of July. In the main lecture hall, the Vice President was reported on the brief background of the university, students' strength, specialized subjects being conducted at the university, research works, and holding research seminars. After responding to the reports, the Vice President said that the 85-year-old Mandalay University is the education hub for the Union nationals from all across the country, and thousands of intellectuals and intelligentsia have been turned out. The Vice President also asked the faculties to strive for reaching the government's goals for human resource development, for emergence of brilliant and good persons who are fit and outstanding in academic and social dealing fields, and for emergence of an education system that can catch up with international standards. The Vice President also promised that the government will not only provide scholarship and stipends, but also take measures for the improvement of the socio-economic life of the state in the education field whenever circumstance permits. Then the Vice President viewed the research works and 10 papers of zoology, botany, biology, physics, chemistry, archaeology, anthropology, law and English departments being displayed at the main lecture hall and gave necessary instructions. Vice President Dr. Sein, together with junior ministers, Mandalay Region Chief Ministers and officials visited number 26 Basic Education High School in Chanyatazi Township in Mandalay on the 26th of July. After hearing report on the schools, the Vice President gave instructions and then inspected students learning lessons in the classrooms. Later, the Vice President proceeded to number 16 Basic Education High School in Chanyatazi Township, where he inspected e-education learning center, library, computer-aided instruction room, computer skill room, and students learning lessons in the classrooms. The Vice President gave speeches at the schools saying that the Vice President and party visited the schools due to the success and good passing rate of the schools. The current teaching system is that the students are too reliant on the teachers and tuitions, so the system will gradually be changed to student-centered teaching method. To introduce free compulsory education, primary level textbooks are distributed to students free of charge starting from this year, and plans are underway to distribute exercise books, stationery, and stipend for the students in the next year. Later, the Vice President visited Thein Private School, where he inspected classrooms and hostels. Then he proceeded to VEC Ayeyawady Private Schools, where he gave instruction and inspected science lab and computer room. The Vice President gave instructions at the private schools. He said that students should be trained to practice self-study by using library and internet for success of student-centered teaching system. He asked officials to arrange everything which is supportive to development of educational standard of the students. Not only passing of the examination, but also health education, moral uprightness, and other necessary requirements of the students will be provided by the private schools. Vice President Dr. Sein, together with the Union Ministers, the Chief Minister of Mandalay Region, the Deputy Ministers, Regional Ministers and Departmental Heads visited Mandalay Technological University in Thein Township on the 26th of July. In the Assembly Hall, Deputy Minister for Science and Technology, Dr. Bago, reported on research works being undertaken by the ministry, which include production projects of engines and test running, as well as the production of locomotive engine heads, computer numerical control machines, and 6 megawatt Francis turbines. The rector of the university also reported on the research works being carried out by biotechnological department and the salient points of the university. In his discussion, Vice President Dr. Sein said Myanmar has abundant natural resources. In order to exploit these rich resources, the qualified human resources comprised with technicians, researchers, and engineers are of paramount importance. After that, the Vice President viewed the research works of Mandalay Technological University, University for Computer Studies Mandalay, Myanmar Aerospace and Astronautical University, Technological Research Department Ulun, Central Technical Workshop Chause, and Mining Research and Development Department ELA. Later, the Vice President and party inspected integrated farm of Farmer Utenyu in the Thein Township. The Mandalay Region Agriculture and Livestock Minister reported on implementation of integrated farming, the cost, profits and income, cultivation of monsoon, chickpea and summer paddy per year, mushroom cultivation and livestock, poultry and fish breeding tasks. The Vice President gave encouragement to Farmer Utenyu. Then he asked the region chief minister and officials to organize the locals from nearby villages to implement the integrated farming, to provide necessary assistance, to make field trips to every village to provide training, technical and cash assistance to operate practically the farming and breeding tasks, to implement healthcare services with local health workers and auxiliary midwives, and work for availability of electricity and environmental greening tasks. After which, the Vice President met with the farmers from Yeji village and explained rural development and poverty alleviation tasks implemented by the state and arrangements for improving the socio-economic life of rural people by establishing microfinance societies. He also asked them to take part in this program. Then the Vice President inspected mushroom cultivation, production of compost natural fertilizer, cultivation of paddy with transplanting machine, and breeding tasks.
Vice President of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, Dr. Sein, accompanied by Union Ministers, Mandalay Region Chief Minister, Deputy Ministers, Regional Ministers, and Department Heads, arrived at the University of Nursing Mandalay in Channyatasi Township in Mandalay on the 27th of July. At the university, the Vice President inspected the library, internet room, practical learning at the Basic Healthcare Department, and students learning in the classrooms. In the meeting hall, the Vice President heard reports on salient points of the university, supplemented by the Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Winnie. After fulfilling the needs, the Vice President inspected round the staff quarters and buildings in the university campus. From there, they proceeded to Traditional Medicine University in Aungmi Tazan Township. In the meeting hall, the Vice President heard reports on salient points of the university. After coordinating the requirements, the Vice President said that up to now, the degree of Traditional Medicine has been conferred to nearly 800 graduates and are performing their duties at Traditional Medicine Department, the hospitals and clinics. He pointed out the need to be in good terms with the patients to win their trust and reliance while treating them and to follow the medical code of conduct. Thereafter, the Vice President inspected round the Traditional Medicine Museum, library, and e-library in the main building. Later, he viewed medicinal plants plantations being cultivated depending on the diseases in the medicinal garden for demonstration, and the plantations of potent plants being used in curing 6 major diseases. Then he urged those present to explain the potency of the traditional medicines that are as effective as Western medicines to the patients while curing them to win more trust.